What if the universe had a legal origin? Imagine standing in a courtroom, the jury is silent, the judge is poised, and the defendant, the very fabric of existence. Welcome to Knowledge Hub Factory, where today we're putting the creation of the universe on trial, legally, philosophically, and scientifically. It sounds bold, but stay with us. We've all heard about the Big Bang Theory, religious creation stories, and scientific arguments. But here's the twist. Can the origin of the universe have legal implications? Can nations, governments, or even private entities claim rights over outer space, celestial bodies, or future colonies on Mars? Could Earth's ownership be legally challenged? And what does international law say about all of this? This isn't just an abstract debate for philosophers and physicists. From Elon Musk's Mars ambitions to global disputes over satellite orbits, the question of who owns what in the cosmos is very real. And surprisingly, there are legal frameworks, treaties, and even case law that govern this. In this episode of Knowledge Hub Factory, we'll explore how the universe's creation is discussed in both scientific and theological contexts, the legal implications of space and celestial ownership, famous legal cases related to space law, real-world examples like how Luxembourg became a space mining pioneer, and practical advice on how international law tackles the final frontier. Stick around, because by the end, you'll not only understand the universe's birth, but also how laws are trying to keep up with its infinite possibilities. Let's get started. Part 1. The Origins, from Big Bang to Belief Systems. The story of the universe's creation is as old as time itself, quite literally. Scientific theories like the Big Bang, which suggests the universe exploded into existence about 13.8 billion years ago, dominate mainstream cosmology. But long before telescopes and quantum equations, humans turned to creation myths to explain our origins. In Christianity, the book of Genesis describes God creating the universe in 6 days. Islam presents a similar but distinct narrative. Hindu cosmology speaks of cyclic creation and destruction through Brahma. Ancient Norse mythology describes a chaotic void, Ginnungagap, bridged by fire and ice. Why does this matter legally? Because belief systems shape laws. In many European countries, especially in earlier centuries, creationism heavily influenced legal frameworks and education systems. For instance, until the 20th century, questioning divine creation could be considered blasphemy, a criminal offense in places like the UK and Italy. Fast forward to modern Europe, where secularism is more widespread, these creation stories have given way to constitutional protections of freedom of belief. This shift led to landmark cases such as Case Kokinakis v. Greece, 1993. The European Court of Human Rights, ECHR, ruled in favor of a Jehovah's Witness who had been convicted of proselytizing. The court emphasized freedom of religion, marking a shift in how European legal systems treat religious narratives, including those about creation. This is critical because any discussion about the creation of the universe, whether through faith or science, now falls under freedom of expression and belief, protected under Article 9 of the European Convention on Human Rights. So from a legal perspective, you're free to believe in the Big Bang, God, Odin, or aliens, as long as it doesn't infringe on others' rights. But what happens when belief systems enter the realm of public education or policymaking? Can creationism be taught in schools alongside evolution? That's exactly what we explore next. B2. When Science Meets Law, Teaching Creation and Evolution in Europe. Let's now zoom in on education, where science and legal systems often clash over what should be taught about our origins. Across Europe, school curricula are shaped not just by academic consensus, but also by court rulings and constitutional laws. In countries like the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, evolution is the primary scientific framework taught in schools. But legal challenges have arisen, particularly from religious groups pushing for equal time to teach creationism. Let's look at a case from the U.S. that heavily influenced European debates. Case: Kitzmiller versus Dover Area School, District 2005, While not a European case, it had international ripple effects. A U.S. federal court ruled that intelligent design was a form of creationism, not science, and therefore couldn't be taught in public schools. The court cited the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, which separates church and state. This case inspired legal reviews in several European countries. In France, the Education Ministry reiterated that science classes must only teach theories based on empirical evidence, effectively banning creationism from science curricula. The UK followed suit with similar guidance in 2007. But here's where it gets interesting. In private schools and religious institutions, different rules apply. These schools have more freedom to include religious creation stories as part of their broader philosophy curriculum, but not as scientific fact. This legal balancing act, respecting religious beliefs while upholding scientific integrity, is a hallmark of European legal systems. It shows that the creation of the universe, though debated in science and religion, is also subject to constitutional rights, educational laws, and court decisions. So, whether you're a student in Paris, Berlin, or Stockholm, what you learn about the universe's creation has been carefully filtered through legal scrutiny. And that leads us to an even more complex legal frontier: space. Part 3. Who owns the universe? The law of outer space. Let's step out of the classroom and into outer space. The moment humanity began launching rockets, the legal question became unavoidable. Who owns the universe? If the Big Bang gave birth to a shared universe, can any one country or company claim a part of it? Turns out international law has something to say. The most important document here is the Outer Space Treaty, 1967. Signed by over 110 countries, including all European nations, this treaty declares that outer space, including the moon, and other celestial bodies, is the province of all mankind. It prohibits national appropriation and the use of weapons of mass destruction in space. In simpler terms, no country can own the moon. No private company can buy a planet. But companies are already pushing boundaries. For example, Luxembourg, a tiny European nation, made global headlines in 2017 by becoming the first to pass laws supporting space mining, allowing private companies to extract and profit from asteroid resources. This prompted legal debates across Europe about whether such laws contradict the Outer Space Treaty. The European Space Agency, ESA, remains cautious, while countries like Germany and France are calling for updated international agreements. And this isn't just about future Martian colonies. Space law already affects us through satellite ownership, GPS control, and orbital traffic management. Real-life example, in 2021, SpaceX satellites nearly collided with a Chinese space station, sparking a formal complaint by China at the BUI, United Nations. This incident highlighted the urgent need for space traffic laws and more clarity on liability. So, yes, the creation of the universe wasn't just the start of time. It was the beginning of a new legal frontier. Part 4. Real-world legal conflicts and solutions. The growing commercialization of space brings real legal challenges. Consider this. If a private company like SpaceX builds a base on Mars, are they bound by Earth's laws? What court has jurisdiction and who resolves disputes? Let's look at international precedents and case law. Case: United States versus Palmer, 1818. While not about space, this U.S. Supreme Court case helped define extraterritorial jurisdiction, a concept now crucial in space law. It held that nations could prosecute crimes committed outside their borders under certain conditions. Apply this to space. If a European astronaut commits a crime on the International Space Station, ISS, which country prosecutes? The ISS Intergovernmental Agreement solves this by granting jurisdiction to the astronaut's home country. Europe is also at the forefront of building future legal frameworks. The European Space Policy, developed by the EU and ESA, supports peaceful exploration and advocates for a UN-led space governance system. Practical solution: many legal experts now support the creation of an international space court under the UN to resolve conflicts beyond Earth. This could operate like the International Criminal Court in The Hague. And it's not just space. Legal debates about artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and environmental protection all intersect with the broader question of how our laws must evolve with our universe. From intellectual property in space tech to liability for space debris, the law is struggling to keep up with the speed of discovery. A conclusion and call to action, the future of law beyond Earth. So what have we learned? The universe may have begun with a bang, but today, it's being regulated with constitutions, treaties, and court rulings. From religious creation myths to cutting-edge space law, the story of the cosmos is not just about how it started, but also about how we govern what came after. We've seen how European courts protect freedom of belief around creation stories. Schools are legally required to teach science based on evidence. The Outer Space Treaty limits ownership of celestial bodies. Real-world cases are shaping future laws for the final frontier. As space becomes the next global arena, it's crucial that international law evolves with it.